And most people think of wealth as your bank account, as just your bank account, but it's so much more than that. So, what are some tips that you can give some of the listeners out there? And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, to really own your power.
The best way to stand in your power is to be prepared. The leaders of the world step into their power by owning who they are. It's all personal growth, personal development. It goes hand in hand with professional growth and professional development.
Hey there, it's Sandee Sgarlata. Get ready to dive deep into incredible stories of people who've taken life's challenges and turned them into a roadmap to happiness. On this show, we're not just talking about overcoming obstacles, we're uncovering the real, gritty secrets to living a life filled with peace, joy, and genuine happiness. This is Happiness Solved, so let's get started because happiness is a choice and the choice is yours.
Alana Calhoun, you're just one of my favorite people. I just adore you. You're one of my fellow podcasters on the LA Podcast Network. And we've been on a lot of calls together, panels together on virtual stages. And I'm just so excited to finally be having this interview with you because this is the one thing we haven't done together, right?
Andy, can I tell you how excited I am? I'm like, woohoo, let's get happy. I'm like, okay, let's get happy. Let's get happy. Yes, happiness feels really good. I'm so ready.
Oh my gosh. And we were chatting before I hit record, and it's like, I know you, but I don't know your bio. And I'm like looking to buy. And then I'm so honored that you asked me to. So for the audience, Alana, let me just back up here, slow down. I'm so excited here. Alana is the visionary behind Grow to Be You. I love that, which is a has signature programs that guide high achieving professionals and entrepreneurs worldwide through profound journeys of personal and professional metamorphosis. I saw the word metamorphosis and almost started like, oh gosh, what is that word? And it was like, I gotta say metamorphosis. I love it. So Alana has a book coming out, which we're going to talk about later, but she's also the best-selling author of Mindfulness, Mantras, and Meditation, and hosts the Creating Abundance podcast. So we have a lot of amazing things to talk about. And Alana has a book coming out sometime in the next few months, and I'm so honored that she asked me to, write a little blurb about it. So I started, I picked it up. You just sent it to me a few days ago, so I've skimmed it. I'm starting to read it. And it's incredible. Because when you're reading someone's book, like you just start to get to know them a little bit more, right? Like, even though I feel like we're so connected, it's like, wow. You have been working with clients, and you've been doing, lifelong holistic health, creativity, conscious leadership, so much training of your own, and now you're bringing a lot of that wisdom out into the forefront. So just so excited that you're here. I know that was a long rant there.
Thank you. No, keep going.
I talk when I'm excited. I'm a talker. That's why I have a podcast.
Exactly. No, it's wonderful. Yeah, I'm so excited. So the book, thanks for announcing it. It's called Creating Abundance for radiant vitality, radiant, abundant health, wealth, and happiness. And I think that's what it's about, right? So my last word there is happiness. We've got that. We've got that thing going, Sandee, in common.
Yes.
And I think in my experience and what I've learned throughout working with clients is that it's not all about wealth and it's not all about health. It's about all of it. And underlying that is self-care, and like true self-care, which means in the health world, that means you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind and your emotions and your spirit. And then in the wealth world, you're taking care of your bank accounts, you're taking care of your mortgage or whatever it is. You're on top of these things and you're keeping them all in a harmonious hum.
When you're talking about wealth, I'd love to just dive into that conversation right off the bat, because wealth comes in so many shapes and sizes and forms. And most people think of wealth as your bank account, as just your bank account, but it's so much more than that. So much more than that. I mean, obviously, money is critical to our survival on this planet as humans because we can't do anything without it, practically, right? And we need it just to really be able to enjoy. And it's not the end all be all. So when you're working with your clients, how do you help them to manage that balance there? Because it's kind of a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
You want to be driven enough to go to work and increase your bank account and have that, taking care of the self and in that holistic way. So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you offer?
That's a great question. Thank you, Sandy. So often, most of my clients are women, just like you and myself, who want to transition into the next level. I want to make a little bit more money, maybe get a bit more recognition, have laid down the groundwork, or actually they might be in total transition, but they know that they want to see the financial wealth mirror what their contributions are. They work
Yeah.
really hard, I know you do, and I know I do. And so how do you balance your work ethic, really? Not get so depleted that you exhaust yourself, and by the time you're making the income or getting the recognition, you're too tired to go to the award ceremony or to enjoy the bonus you just got. So the idea is really, in a way, to create a safe level of detachment. So that's creating a safe boundary around your energy and your time. And those are the two elements I have found the most common for high achieving women. Women who make a difference, they want to make a difference. And not only at the workplace, but at home and in their communities. They are passionate about life, which is wonderful. But if we just give, like the sun, we're not the sun, we end up getting burnout or becoming depleted. So the idea is absolutely jump, make that leap, go after your dreams, but do not lose sight of your happiness. Is this making me happy? And if not, how can you shift? It's not about, well, this doesn't make me happy anymore, so I'm just going to abort ship. No, it's about, how can I shift how I'm responding or how much I'm contributing? Am I delegating? All kinds of ways to take care, implement self-care at work, and then at home, it's a whole other thing.
Yes, yes. And so often when you're dealing with so many other people, that's where I know for me personally, where it can be challenging to find that balance because sometimes we're dealing with people that aren't on the same energetic frequency as you are. I know for me, just the other day, okay, here I am. I'm talking. It's so funny. I always find a way to bring tennis into the conversation.
I love it.
But I'm playing tennis, and there was a woman on the opponent side who I was playing against, and this is a USTA official match, and she just felt compelled to yell at us the whole time about the rules, and it was that was like I often say, things happen for you, not to you. Like that was a perfect example of something happening for me where I really had to keep my emotions in check because, when you're being pushed to the point where you want to rack her head upside the head with the tennis racket instead of the ball, like that's when you're really pushed, right? So like
Yeah.
how do you manage that when you're being pushed, I talk about the time, take deep breaths, and sometimes whew, we're pushed to the nth degree, especially as women,
Yeah.
right? And then you don't want to come across as like a hot, oh, she's just emotional, she's hormonal today, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the what you just described, and I can just picture you out there thinking, "Oh, okay, the next swing is coming right at you and not the ball." And while you can think this in your mind, if you can actually bring some joy to it and humor, because her behavior is all about her. It's not
Right.
about you. It's not about anyone else. It's all stemming from something that's going on within her that is out of harmony. That is,
Right.
and so I think anytime someone agitates you to the point where you would shift your own natural responses to something that really doesn't serve you or anyone, it's taking that deep breath in, it's pausing and saying, this is her problem. This is not mine. Do I want to continue with this game? How important is it? What's the professional thing to do? How do I want to respond to this? And maybe you don't play against her anymore. Or maybe when you know you're going to see her, you really protect yourself from that kind of verbal assault, because that's how it feels to me when I'm around people like that. But some people aren't. They like to talk that way, you know.
Yeah. Well, and for me too, I'm very empathic. And so it does become more challenging to not let that energy break through and really deeply affect how I'm feeling. But yeah, and then at the same time, we also have situations, whether you're in the corporate boardroom and, you have other, people, and I'm not going to stereotype anyone, but you have other colleagues that are challenging you as well. And as women, right, it's so important. And what I'm getting at here, Alana, is like owning your power, right?
Yeah.
And that's so critical, because when we're able to own our power, it increases our confidence, it increases our self-worth, and we're able to feel good and walk away saying, you know what, that's how I want to handle things. And
Mhm.
whether you're in the boardroom or the kitchen, it's all the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. True. True.
So what are some tips that you can give some of the listeners out there, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, to really own your power?
Yeah. Well, let's go in the boardroom. Let's start there. And then we'll go
Let's
to the
start there.
kitchen. And then the
Perfect.
living room and the backyard. So in the boardroom, like I'm picturing you and anyone. There could be 2 people, there could be 10 people, there could be 20 people. And I'm being reminded of there was a time I was in a conference, and there were at least 12 people. And these were all leaders of the community, um, you know, some high level officials. And 2 of the people did not like each other. And they started the meeting just kind of throwing a ball back and forth of remarks, and and the rest of the group was so used to it that they just allowed it and then started the meeting. So that's one thing. If you're used to it and you know something might happen like that, that's unusual, I think. It's the only time I experienced that. But if you're at a meeting, any kind of meeting professionally, the best way to stand in your power is to be prepared.
Mm.
Be prepared, have your work, know that you did it effectively. And if not, be ready to say, I did not get to that. I'll talk to you about that later. Be very confident in the work that you are setting on the table. And also know that you wouldn't be there if you weren't good, right? You wouldn't be sitting at the table with whomever it is if they didn't respect your opinion, your wisdom, your knowledge, and your work. So you own it the moment you walk in. And then also, I think as a woman, I think it's very important to be authentic, be yourself, and whatever that nature is, my nature is feminine. I'm going to show up feminine. I'm going to show up as a woman, and I'm going to have my nails painted, and I might have lipstick on, and I'm going to talk the way I see the world with my knowledge, with, professionally, but I'm not going to try to be someone else. I'm not going to try to be one of the guys at the table. I'm going to be myself. And hopefully that will then, you know, influence other women to know they're empowered, just who they are. You didn't get there because of some whim. You got there because you belong there. So act like you belong there. So that's the boardroom.
Love it. Love it. Let's just touch on one thing that you said, because what you were describing, how I interpreted it anyway, was just, that authenticity. And sometimes people confuse what that means. Authenticity, yes, it's just showing up who you are as you are, and not I was telling you I did another podcast interview earlier today, and he was talking about how he had this persona that he thought he had to put on, and that's what a lot of people end up doing. And so it's like putting on their jacket, like, okay, now I'm this person. And when that happens, and this is going to seg into, because I want to stick with the boardroom for a minute, this is going to segue into that conscious leadership. If you really want to be a conscious leader, it has to come from a place of authenticity. What are your thoughts on that?
The leaders of the world step into their power by owning who they are. It's all personal growth, personal development. It goes hand in hand with professional growth and professional development. We don't want cookie cutters. If you look at the greatest leaders, whether you like them or not, is different. They believe what they're saying. They have conviction in what they believe in. And that's authenticity. They are saying, this is what matters to me. This is what I think is going to help the world or this company or this group. And I'm going to stand behind it and influence others to do the same. So I think being authentic, and also then we hear you. We hear you.
Right.
I think we want to be able to relate to whoever is standing behind the podium, so to speak, right? To believe us. I've suffered, we have all suffered in this lifetime. You cannot come through this lifetime without some kind of suffering, whether that's you got sick or you got your heart broken or something happened to your car, whatever. We've all suffered. It's how do we then pick up the pieces and keep moving forward? And I think it's those lessons that help us to become more and more authentic and empathetic. You said you're an empath, and that's, so many of us who are empathy gurus, we feel what's true and what isn't true. So you can't fake us.
You can't. I can't. And you can't at all. And I loved how you described that with the leadership, because you can feel it. The term conscious leadership wasn't in my consciousness until probably the last four years. And looking back, I can think back of how many times I was in these meetings with executives, and I don't know that I was necessarily aware of it there, but there was something I knew that was not right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I get it, that they were just blowing smoke. They're just whatever. So thank you for that. That was really great. All right, let's switch to the kitchen.
I love the kitchen. I grew up
Yeah,
Italian, and that's the hearth of the home. You spend your
right.
time in the kitchen. You cook, you eat, you clean, you talk. And then
Yeah,
you do it again and again.
that's right.
It's kind of beautiful. And if you can make your cooking into some kind of art, that's great. So, well, when I think of the kitchen, though, I think about healthy eating. And so I'm going to shift a little bit there, and then we can talk about maybe family relationships. But our bodies talk to us all the time. I think of our bodies as being antennas. And just as you were saying, and I was saying about being empathetic or having this empathy, we can feel how others are feeling. And sometimes it's hard to create that safe level of detachment. So that's one way our bodies talk to us. The other way is our bodies know exactly what they need to stay healthy, exactly what they need. So I start my day usually with a smoothie, although I realized this morning I started my day with something heartier, um, oatmeal, slow cooked oatmeal with some dried cherries and slivered almonds and coconut and fresh honey. And so as you're feeding yourself or you're spending this time in the kitchen, this is a place to nurture. And I don't know when, actually, I kind of know when it happened because I've studied this. When did it not become that place of nurturing your body, which then helps you to take care of the rest of your life? Is when we started just working, 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 moving, 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 the 24/7 culture. And even before that, Sandy, when these packaged foods like potato chips and anything else that comes in a box or a bag, those things started because I believe years and years ago when we were at wars and this was easily made and they stayed longer and that kind of thing. But now it's become junk food and we're surrounded by junk food. And I'll work with someone and say, okay, so tell me about your diet. And she said, well, I didn't come here about your diet. I said, I know that, but I want to know about your diet.
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, I don't have time to eat. I said, well, you better eat. Someone's got to eat for you. How are you going to show up awake and with that vibrance that you need and want in every facet of your life? So, and if you are one of those people that have cookies on the table, put the cookies in the drawer, put some fresh fruit out there. It will inspire you to eat the fruit.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that. And I had no idea we were going to take it in this direction. And I love it because I think it's so important because part of being happy is, it's a mind, body, spirit thing. And we are what we eat. And we have gotten so far away from, the more holistic way of eating like we used to. And it's all our own fault. Like we're responsible, right? We have to own that. It's our responsibility, as to how we're eating. And there's so often people don't even think about that. And I know when I work with athletes, I had one client once who he was like, well, I'm just really tired. And I said, well, what's your diet like? And he didn't have a diet plan. And I'm like, you're an elite athlete. You're one of the top in his area. He was one of the top in the world at his level. And that is like the most critical part. And when you look at any, professional athletes, their diet, what they eat is so important. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's just so important. And then what about, and let me just see what you think about this, because I used to bless my food, right, and clear the energy of my food. But that's the one thing that we don't even really think about is like everything is energy. And if we're clearing the energy of our bodies and not clearing our food, and then we put the food in our bodies, like what is that doing for us, right? I mean, because there's an energy around everything.
Absolutely. 100%. One of the programs I teach is about your health, your physical health. It's feeling fit and fabulous. And I teach mindful eating. And one of the teachings is to give gratitude and to bless your food, which is something, again, that kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, but it has. And
Mhm.
so for you, you're clearing any negative energy. And that's beautiful. My my meditation with my food before eating it is, and I place my hands right over it and I offer gratitude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my goddess. I am so fortunate that I have this beautiful bowl of, because I have a salad every day for lunch. And trust me, if I don't have it, my body wants it. It is loaded with everything your body needs. And then I'll think about where everything came from. Where did the lettuce come from? It came from the store. Before the store, it was in a delivery train or a truck. And before that, it was harvested in a farm. And who did all that? So all the people who actually made it happen to have it come to my table is just so cool. Now that the weather's nice here in Rochester, New York, I can go to a local farmer's market and get everything fresh. But, a lot goes into your food. And I think once we start thinking about that, then we have a better idea of what we're putting into our bodies. And I like to think of treating your body like you would treat your best friend. Would you put something blue dyed that looks like plastic and kind of like tastes like plastic? What would you make your best friend eat that? Like just
Well,
start
when you put it that way, absolutely not.
it's like, why would I eat that? Where did it come from? What's in it? So often we don't even know what's in it. We just mindlessly open up a bag and eat because it's easy, or grab that
Yeah.
bar and just yeah.
Mm.
So that's beautiful. I love it. And just quickly, it reminds me of a story. One of my clients, we shifted. She wasn't eating breakfast, and so now she's eating breakfast. I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. What are you having?" She says, "I'm having a boiled egg and I don't know, maybe a slice of toast." I said, "Great. And so, tell me about how you're eating it." "Oh, well, I either make it the night before, or make it that morning, and then I go out in the car and I just eat it while I'm driving." I'm like, wait a minute. Now, I've been guilty of eating things in the car. Why not my breakfast? If you're going to go to, take that extra 2 minutes. You don't have to inhale it, but it doesn't actually take a long time to eat an egg. Just
Yeah.
those 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes to sit and actually be with it. This is what the French do, right? They spend 3 hours at a table, dining, tasting,
To have
smelling.
to have that luxury, right? Coming from a high performer that I'm always, doing.
Yeah,
And when you're, we were talking about blessing our food and clearing the energy. And I remember growing up, we would hold our hands and we would actually bless the whole meal, and it was like a ritual at the dinner table. What happened to that? And I know there's a lot of families that still do it, but it's also more, it's a moment of not only blessing your food, but just blessing, like you said, the people. I hadn't even thought about that, like the people that are delivering your food or harvesting the vegetables. I
yeah.
mean, wow. Talk about
The
creating
whole
abundance.
create abundance. There's a whole economic chain behind that box.
Well, not only that, like, when you think about creating abundance, I mean, that's part of it. Like,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
How are you going to show up as the best possible version of yourself if you're putting all this garbage into your body?
Mm.
And folks,
It-
hey, I am not the best eater. I own it. It's a practice, just like happiness, and there's days
Absolutely.
I don't want to practice healthy eating. I want to have a bowl of ice cream, and you know what? That's okay. I'm going to do it. I don't do it very often, but I'm going to. Right? For me,
Mm.
that I need that balance there, but but it's something to practice. And I'm
Yeah,
grateful for this conversation because you're putting it. It's now back to my mind, forefront of my mindset. That's another area of practice in my life.
oh, good.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
I know, right? Progress, not perfection.
We're all works of progress, all of us. Yeah, every one of us. But I do want to touch on that the beautiful setting of a family saying a prayer together and before engaging in food. It's that's mindfulness, quite frankly, in a heartbeat.
Yes.
That's it. It's saying we are here at this moment together because we love each other and we have this food that we are grateful for and we are going to share it. And as we share it, by setting the stage like that, then the conversation is just so much more authentic and real and relaxed versus just sitting in front of the TV, turning it on and chatting every once in a while. And just, it's so very, very different. So Yeah, I think engaging in a meal and creating, yeah, what is that? That's a tradition. Traditions are beautiful.
Yeah. And just to kind of circle back, if you are one of those that are in the boardroom or the meeting rooms all day long, by coming home with and you're with your family and you take the time to do that, that's how you're going to create the connection with your family and leave the boardroom behind and kind of give yourself that reset and show up for yourself and for those that you love and love you the most as well.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. Yeah,
All right. We only have a few minutes left because I try to keep these episodes right
sure.
around 30 minutes. Please talk about your book it's finished. I'm going to be writing a review of it. Please talk about that and just give us a little bit more detail about that book.
Sure. So it's creating abundance, health, wealth, and happiness. And in fact, my podcast is also named Creating Abundance.
Good
And
job. I love the branding.
yeah, we talked about a lot of it, really. It's about bringing that abundance of wealth into your life, financial wealth, keeping track of it, not overexerting, because I'm a high achiever too. I do it all the time, and I have to just step back and pause, meditate. So the book uh, offers guided meditations and tips on how to pay attention to your eating habits, on how to get actually excited about a physical activity. Right? You talked about tennis. That's your go-to right now. That's awesome. My go-to is yoga, but in the past it's been dance or bicycling. So find something that's exciting, and there's a whole area about that. And it's really about coming back home to your inner self. And my hands are on the heart chakra. This is your center. I believe this is the most powerful organ in your body. And when we overexert or high achieve, we tend to send out so much of our energy in such an amazing way, but we need to come back. So it's about, here's how you can come back at the end of the day or at dinner time. Here's a way to give yourself 5 extra minutes in the morning, whether that's eating your breakfast or doing a morning check-in. How am I feeling? What's the day looking like? How can I move through my day with grace and ease? And it suggests all kinds of powerful mantras or affirmations that you can take throughout your day. And the coolest part is at the end of the book, you'll have a template. So each chapter, well, most of the chapters, guide you on a path to create your own wellness plan, basically. And when I say wellness, I mean holistically, so that you can then say, oh, these are my money goals. This is my relationship goal. This is my intention for life. And these are all the ways that are going to work for me. Because just as you said, you're going to go for that bowl of ice cream. Well, I have been caught in a store buying a birthday cake for myself, and it wasn't my birthday because I love birthday cake. And now I won't eat the whole thing, but I still like to go and get myself some cake. I have learned. But that story, a little girl said, oh, whose birthday is it? And I looked at her, I said, and I just went into the other aisle. I'm like, no, I'm getting caught. But it's okay as long as you can put it into place. So now I cut up my cakes and I have them in the freezer, individually packaged. So there's a tip for you. Don't give up your ice cream, don't give up your cake, but here's how you can manage it. And it's really about bringing that abundance. You were talking about energy. It's all energy. I had this great conversation yesterday with a colleague about, in the end, it's all love. It's all love and light. Everything. If you could imagine that everything out there is simply light, like a web of light, and it's all manifested through love, because that's where the happiness is. Where is the love in your work? Where's the love in your family? Where's the love in your gardening or your tennis game? And don't allow someone to sabotage you on the tennis court
That's right.
and so that you would lose that love. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I'm super excited about it, and I've got programs around it. It's just yeah, it's good stuff.
Amazing. All right. Well, Alana, thank you so much for joining me today. I have to say this, as corny as it's going to sound, but Alana really did tell us today of how to have your cake and eat it too, right? I'm sorry, that was bad.
So gonna use that.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I do that too, because I like brownies, but so I make them and I cut them in the little, like literally bite size, and I'll freeze them. So when I feel like, and it's just I don't need to have the whole pan, but I just have to have a bite. That's okay.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you eat it slowly and you taste it.
Yes. So good. All right. Well, we're gonna close this episode up today because I think I may need to go have a piece of chocolate or something. You just got me going. Alana, thank you so much for joining me today. And please follow her on social media so that when her book does come out, you can help her, because it's going to be a bestseller, and help her get to that bestseller status as well. Thank you so much, Alana.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and as promised, I'd like to give you more details of what you can expect as a member of the Happiness Soul exclusive community. First, you'll have access to a treasure trove of extra podcast episodes. These episodes dive deeper into the topics we discuss, featuring additional expert interviews only found here. But that's not all. As a member, you'll also get access to a series of mindset training sessions. These recordings are tailored to help you understand the how and why your mindset is the most important asset you have, empowering you to achieve your personal and professional goals. And for those of you looking to find a moment of peace in your busy lives, we've got something special. Exclusive guided meditations. These sessions are crafted to help you relax, refocus, and recharge. Whether you're a meditation guru or just starting out, there's something here for everyone. Becoming a member is more than just accessing extra content. It's about joining a community of like-minded individuals, all on a journey to live life to its fullest and become the best possible version of you. So how can you join? It's simple. Go to happinesssoul.supercast.com and sign up. Don't miss out on this opportunity to deepen your journey with us. Again, that's happinesssoul.supercast.com, and it will also be in the show notes. I am so grateful you're a part of our Happiness Soul family, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. Again, I am so grateful for you, and I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe, and that your lives are filled with peace, joy, and happiness. Take care, everyone.